Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gen Con Online. This is Kosmos Games. I'm Tom, and with me is Mike. We're going to talk today about Aqualin and, of course, any Kosmos games that you want to talk about. But before we get started, I would like to just double check and make sure everyone can hear us. So if someone could give us a thumbs up or like we can hear you. Mike, would you mind saying something real quick?
Hey everybody, thanks for joining for day 2.
So there's a little bit of a delay. We'll just have to wait a second to make sure my audio bars are going up and down. All right, cool. They can hear us. We're good to go. Thank you, guys. All right, so Mike, I'll give you just a minute to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to kind of give an outline of the show.
All right. So my name's Mike DePasquale. I've been demoing with Kosmos for 3 years now. This marks my 3rd Gen Con, although it's my first online. I've also been demoing at PAX Unplugged for the past 2 years. Tom and I have spent quite a bit of time in the booths of conventions, teaching our games, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love being with Kosmos.
You've been a great help in so many of the conventions that we go to, so we really appreciate it. And we love having you back because you're such a great demoer, and you have such a great board game knowledge as is kind of displayed behind you. You got quite a setup of not just Kosmos games, but lots of other games too.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, this is a video that we're going to talk about Aqualin, which is a new 2-player game in the classic Kosmos 2-player series, which I think we have the best 2-player series out there. We have a long history of it, and definitely some of the best ones. And this one fits in there with the greatest of the greats. It's a really great game. It's simple, but I'll let Mike tell you more about that. So we're going to talk about the game, talking about why we think it's cool, who it's really intended for, and then we're also going to open it up so that everyone can ask us questions about this game or any game of Kosmos that you want to. Before we do that, I've got another little teaser video that I want to share with everyone. I think is really cool. So,
spoiler? There's no spoilers.
Everyone is looking for their place in the reef in Aqualin. Players compete to form the largest schools by grouping together as many matching sea creature tiles as possible. One player works to create schools for the same type of while the other makes groups of the same color. The larger the grouping, the more points. School or get schooled in Aqualin. From Thames.
all right, we're back. Our screens froze for a minute there while the video was playing. I couldn't hear you, but cool video. Welcome back, Mike. Take it away. Let's talk about Aqualin.
All right, so Aqualin, as Tom said, is a 2-player game. It's designed by Marcello Bertocci, which is the CEO and founder of XV Games. This is his first design that's published through Kosmos, and it's a very, very strategic 2-player game. So what you'll see, the box, once you open it, you'll get that rule sheet. And then we have this 6x6 grid, which Tom has in the center of the play area. And then what you'll also notice is rather than cardboard tiles, we have these really amazing chunky acrylic tiles. And I'm not joking when I say chunky. I mean, they are amazing. They have heft to them. The screen printing on them is really great. I mean, these are really, really good quality components. I would almost argue that they're better and thicker than the tiles that are in some other games. And I mean, this is something that would have ended up being a BGG Geek Up Bit set or something like that. But you don't even have to worry about that because these things come in the game. Now, the game's going to be played over rounds where we're going to be laying tiles onto the 6x6 grid in order to gain the most points. Now, what you're going to first do is you'll take all the tiles, lay them face down, and then you're going to draw 6 of them to form your drafting pool. Now, players are going to decide who is going to score by color and who is going to score by animals, because the point of the game is to get all of your creatures or colors into schools. That's why the tagline is school or be schooled. So essentially, I might decide that I want to play as colors. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to try to match as many colors of the same type in pools together or schools on the board. But we're both playing in the same area. Now, if I take colors, that then means that Tom is going to be scoring based on the amount of the same type of creature that he can get into the same school. Now, at the very beginning of the game, you're going to figure out who the last player to go in the ocean was, and that's the player who's going to be the first player, the starting player, and they'll get to decide whether they want to be colors or creatures. Now, once that happens, the very first turn of the game, you're going to take one tile from the available drafting pool and place it on the board. After that, you're going to then flip a tile, so that way the drafting pool is always going to have a total of 6 tiles. Now, in all subsequent turns, starting with the second player, you have the option to slide that tile as many spaces either in a row or column, so long as it does not end up leaving the mat, or jumping over another tile that's already in its place. So if, for example, Tom, if you could take a tile and put it on this, there you go. So now if it were my turn, I could slide that octopus all the way to the left or all the way to the right up until the point where it hits another tile and then it has to stop.
That's not allowed.
Oh, yeah. So once you slide a tile, again, that's optional, you'll then draft a tile out of the pool and place it anywhere inside of the grid. And then you'll flip the next tile up into the display, and it becomes the next player's turn. Now, what this does is it makes it extremely strategic and very, very cutthroat, as you'll start to notice that, I can see that I may be playing as the colors, but there are a lot of starfish, or sea stars actually, that are out there. And I know that Tom's essentially going to start trying to get those sea stars into positions around the rest of them, because the more you have at the end of the game in a school, the more points you're going to gain. So I might want to start taking some of those sea stars, putting them on the opposite sides, so that he's going to have to really slide tiles around a lot to get into a position where they'll score. Now, this game will go back and forth in the same fashion until all 36 of these tiles have been placed and the grid is completely full, at which case you're then going to start assessing your schools of either creatures or colors. And the way this is going to go is you'll always have to have a minimum of 2 items, 2 tiles to form a school, because one fish or one creature and one color on its own does not constitute a school. You need to have at least 2. So 2 tiles in a school will gain you 1 point. 3 will gain you 3 points. 4 gains you 6. 5 gains you 10. And 6 gains you 15. So you'll be going back and forth. And then if there's a tie, I believe if there's a tie, we just have to rematch each other. Yep. Or is there a...
It's just a rematch.
Just a rematch. That's exactly what I thought. Yes. So if you end up with a dead tie, well, then you're just going to have a rematch to see who wins.
Switch the whose colors and whose creatures, and do it again. That's what I do.
That's yeah. I mean, I haven't been able to do that because I played against my wife. Hi, Chris, love you. And though she's not a huge gamer, she absolutely destroyed me. Like we got to the end, and I thought I was being so clever with sliding tiles that I slid it so that the last tile going down gave her a 4-point swing, and that just was. I haven't had a tie yet. I just keep getting beat.
You'll get there sometime.
Someday.
Yeah.
Just keep on swimming.
So this is such an easy game, Mike. And we talked about this. How do you feel? Do you want a match?
I think we should try to do as much of a match as we can to show everybody how it'll work. So the other nice thing, and this is what Tom and I had been talking about before, is that the game can actually be easily played remotely as well. So what we had come up with is putting some number and letter associations across the grids, so that way I could communicate with him which tiles I want to move to which space, and then we can go about playing the game. So when's the last time you were in the ocean?
You know, I don't remember. But I know you went to the ocean like weeks ago, or less than that.
That is correct. I was at Point Pleasant, New Jersey, about 2 weeks ago. I only went in about to my ankles, but I was in the ocean. So I'll go with color. Okay. I don't know why I love using the color.
Well, I will happily take creatures. And you know, because I know that the screen that the viewers have is very small, I'm going to try and enlarge that. Mike, our screen isn't going to change, but I'm just using my software here. So I'm going to... Yeah. So hold on, those of you watching at home. The screen should be getting bigger, and hopefully you can kind of see the game a little bit better. Now, I wish my lighting were better. I apologize for that. But I'm looking at my screen now, and I can pick out the colors and the shapes, so I hope you can too. All right. Definitely. Let's do this. Who's going first then?
So I was in the ocean first, so I would love to take that the purple fish at the very top and place it into C4.
And then I'll flip another piece for you.
Yep, I'm okay with you flipping any random tile.
All right, so I'm doing creatures and you're doing colors. Let's see. I'm going to take this guy here. So I put out a star. Ooh, another starfish?
Ooh, okay.
Or you call it a sea star.
Yeah, it's apparently they're now considered sea stars because they are not actual fish. I'm going to go with the purple sea star if you could place that in C5.
How did I know you were going to do that? Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to move your fish here and connect my sea stars.
Okay. Let's see. Let's take the pink sea star that is in C3, move that down to C1, and place the pink fish on C2.
Oh, you dirty rat.
And then just flip any random one.
Ah, more sea stars. All right.
So just so everybody knows, there are 6 different creatures and 6 different colors as well. And so that's blue, green, pink, purple, red, and yellow. Mm-hmm. And then we have crabs, fish, octopus, seahorse, sea stars, and sea turtles.
I actually, that's something that I love about this game. I love it when things just like feel and sound right. It has 36 pieces, 6 of each color and creature. It's a 36 square board, and the pool has 6 creatures out. Like, yeah. I love that. Like 6 times 6.
It's all, yeah, it's amazing.
All right, so it's my turn. I'm going with creatures. I'm going to do this. No. Okay, so I first have to move, and then I'm going to place.
Ooh, okay. let's move the C1 C star to B1 and take the yellow octopus and put that in C1.
All right.
And so, just so people know, the game box states that it's about I believe it's 20 to 30 minutes. My wife and I played in probably less than 15. If you are really good with strategy games, it kind of feels similar to Go, but Go, you're not sliding tiles, but you're trying to surround specific areas. It's funny because it has a lot of the strategy of other tile placement games, but I have yet to find something that really feels very similar to this. So what I'm gonna do is have you slide the pink fish from B3 over to A3, and let's drop the pink crab into B3.
Okay. I'll move my fish up to A4, and then I'm going to place a new fish on A3. Now, I like putting the tiles, once they're in the display, I like putting them all the same direction, only because I see the patterns better that way. That's not part of the rules, but just a heads up.
Let's slide the C star from C3 to D3, and I'd like to have that seahorse, the pink seahorse, in C3.
Of course you do. Okay. I'm playing a very offensive game right now. I'm not taking any stabs at your strategies yet.
Let's see. Let's take the blue starfish in D4 and bring that down to D1. And have the yellow sea turtle on D2.
D2. Boy, you're just every time you're moving pieces where I don't want you to move them.
And that's what I love about it. Like it's really tough because at the very start, things are so open where we're really like moving things around a lot, and you think like, okay, I have this really great setup right here, but then all of a sudden, things kind of take a turn. So let's see.
Yeah, I like the back and forth in this because every time my turn ends, I'm always like, I got him where I want him, and then when you go, it's always like, oh no, why would you do that? My plans.
Let's take the red starfish on D5, bring it down to D3, and let's put a green crab on D4.
On D4. I feel like I wish there were like a bingo collar, because don't they have like all these like fun little things like B4, not B
exactly
late or something. All right, so my turn, and I'm going for creatures, and I feel like you've taken over some of my clusters, my schools of fish. All right, I'm gonna move this up here. I'm gonna stay on the offense, and move that guy there.
All right, let's move that turtle from E1 to E4. And then I'll put the red octopus on E3.
On E3 or D3? Oh, E3.
E3, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Every time I put a piece out, I end up covering up what I want to look at. All right. What do I want to do now? I'm going to move over here. And then
all right. Let's do that. The purple starfish on C5 up to C6.
Purple starfish. Oh.
C5. Yep, up to C6. And let's drop a green seahorse where it was on C5.
Dang. Okay. Look at all these seahorses coming out. Oh, I feel like I need to. All right, move this here. I'm gonna start my seahorse school.
All right, let's move the yellow fish on A3 down to A2, and the pink sea turtle onto A3.
Your wife must be good because you're beating me. I refuse to admit I'm bad at this game. That another thing I think interesting to point out is that the pieces are great. They're these nice toy quality, like plasticky pieces that have a great tactile feel to them. But don't let that trick you. This is not a child's game. Although I do think a kid can play this.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that I think that this game kind of brings, or it gives back what you put into it. If you want to make this a very brain-burning strategic game, you can get that, for sure. But if you want to play this with your 8-year-old or your 6-year-old, you absolutely can. I think you'd have a good time. All right, my turn.
That is correct.
Let me... Oh, let's see. Move this guy here.
Ooh, okay. A little bit messy with my plan there, but let's... All right, now I have to regroup for a second here. No, I don't want to do that one. Let's move the starfish on D6, blue.
Mm-hmm.
Move that to F6, the blue one. Yeah, there we go. And then let's put the purple octopus in D6.
D6, not to be confused with dice.
Yes.
Let's see. Creatures. No. Boy, you really got me in a corner in a couple places here.
Don't forget, you could still slide one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna do this, just because I can. I'm gonna do this.
Okay. All right. Let's just go ahead and move that turtle back.
You're moving him back?
And yeah, we're gonna put a yellow crab on E2.
Blocking it in?
Yep. I have to secure that somehow.
I understand. Ooh, that's not good.
And that's the other thing that's really great too, because I could see things happening where I think, oh, I'm gonna end up doing something really great, and then all of a sudden the next tiles come out, and I'm like, oh man, I just painted myself into a corner here. Let's go ahead and take the yellow. Well, let's see. First off, before we do that, Let's take the blue seahorse that is in E5 and move him to F5. And then let's take the yellow seahorse and put that in E1.
In E1? But that's not where I wanted it. Ooh, that's a rough one for me.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Quite a
All
bit.
right. Well, we'll do this. I'm gonna play real dirty this time.
All right.
You forced my hand. You made me.
I did. All right. So let's take that blue seahorse from F5, move him down to F3, and then put a green fish into E5.
E5. All right. That's probably a better place than where I was going. All right. I'm gonna do this and this.
All right.
Ooh, we're getting close to the end now.
So now I would like to have that green fish move down to F4, please. And let's put the red crab into F5.
Yeah, that is a really good grouping for you. The green there. That's good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had 5 in a row yet. Okay. All right. Let's take that fish, slide him up to A6, and we'll put in the blue octopus in A5. Because if you move him over to put that fish there, you're still going to give me a point.
I'm going to probably give you multiple points because I want to put the blue fish there. Yeah, real rotten of you. But
extremely.
You know what? I'm not going to like do the math in my head. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Now it's your turn.
All right, so now let's move that the pink octopus from E6 to F6 and put the purple crab there.
Okay. And I don't really see much going on for me here. I can do that. We played a whole game.
Yeah.
That was great.
That's what I love.
I feel like you beat me by quite a bit.
We could do the math on it.
We should.
So let's see. We'll go. Do we want to do? Let's do your points first. Let's do the creatures first. So I always start at the top and work my way down.
Okay. So creatures,
you have,
we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fish,
which is 6 points.
6 points.
Are you writing this down? I don't have a writing implement.
I do.
Paper. Or parchment, I should say.
All right, so 6 points for that. And then my turtles here, there's 2 of them, so that's 1 point.
That's 1.
Crabs, that's another point.
Yep.
We already scored that. We already scored that. Nothing, nothing, nothing. My...
That's 3 points.
That's 3 for 3.
Yep.
Nothing. 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 Whew. I am losing out on points left and right. So that's 1 point for the turtles there.
Correct.
Nothing. Nothing.
Already
scored that. Nothing. Nothing.
Already scored. That's an octopus. We got 2. That's another 1.
Yep. I think that is it for me.
All right.
So now let's do colors. Now, this is how I like to score. I'll just show you. So, especially for the last one, I can take one tile like this and be like, are there any other colored tiles next to it? No? All right. It's off. No other yellows? It's off. No other purples. So there's 3. So that's 3 points.
3.
I'll score that. Nothing. Nothing. This one's 2. That's 1 point.
That's 1 point.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. That's a point.
Yep.
We got 5 here for 10. That's going to give you the win.
Yeah. If only I could get the 6th one in there, I could have gotten 15.
Well, you also got this 4 right here for another 6 points. The purples.
And
nothing,
then another 3.
3, and then nothing. All right. I'll do the math real quick.
Not bad.
You know, good game, good match. I don't think we need to talk about the score.
But so that's the great thing, and that's what I love about the game, is that each time you play, you have such a different experience because the order of the tiles that are going to come out are going to be different. Where an individual places the very first tile, if I decide to go by creature instead of by color, that always changes, and it keeps the game fresh. And like I said, having these really amazing acrylic tiles, look at them. I mean, the quality on them is just outrageous.
They
to
printed
me.
that one upside down.
Oh, he's sleeping. But the quality on them are so amazing. I just, I can't help but, while I'm sitting here, I have my copy on the table, and I've been just kind of, toying around with them because they're a really great feel. And it's such a tactile game where you can see how, you can really get into another player's head while you're staring at the board, trying to see, what's in that drafting pool and where can I move something and then put a piece in place. And there were times where I was moving things and putting a tile in place, not only to block Tom from being able to move the original tile to where he wanted, but also trying to get myself into a position where 3 turns later, I might be able to move that tile again into a position that scores me points. Not only the fact that but towards that tail end, you can get into positions where no matter what happens, you can trick your opponent into giving you more points in order to secure a couple points for themselves. And that to me just makes the game so amazing, because as a 2-player game, it can be quite cutthroat, but the strategy behind it is just so much fun.
I was trying to play nice, and you just kept blocking me and cutting me off.
I was not, but like I also said,
you play to win, and like I said, you get out of this game what you put into it.
Exactly.
I mean, if I just sat and thought things through a little bit better, I might have been able to do better. However, I do want to share with you the score.
Okay.
You came in at 25. That's
2?
a good score.
Thank you.
Yeah, good score. I came in at 13.
Wow. That's a big difference from the game that I had played with my wife.
You didn't double my score, so I'm considering that a win for me.
I will allow that.
I want to play again, but I want to switch. You said you do better at colors. I want to try colors now. I mean,
okay.
We won't do that right now, but maybe after the show we can.
Yeah. And so that's the other point too, is especially with doing Gen Con online and a lot of individuals who aren't able to get together with their game groups. This is one of those 2-player games that is extremely easy to play over the internet against each other. As you saw, Tom and I were able to play an entire game, and I didn't clock it, but I'm gathering it was definitely under the 20-minute mark, or close to. and there's nothing that prevents you from, there's nothing that gives an advantage to the player who actually physically has the game to be able to look through and know what things are. It's an easy game to play remotely, which to me is also just a huge plus. The only thing that the other person doesn't get to do is play with the really awesome tiles, because I just can't. These things are.
I wanted to quickly make a call out to something that I like about this game, that isn't the mechanics of the game, but just like the pieces. You can play this game in an outdoor setting because there's no cards. This is the only cardboard which could potentially fly away if it was a really windy day, but that's it, right? So you could sit at a cafe with your significant other or your kid or whatever. Like, it's a great two-player game because it's a great two-player game, but also because of its versatility. Like, you can play it anywhere. I plan on taking this to the beach.
And to be honest, as soon as you start putting these tiles on the board, that board's not going anywhere, because these have enough weight to them that as soon as you get a couple rounds in, you won't even have to worry about. I mean, the board, it's not a light board either. And I always like. This is one thing I also love, artwork that's on the backside of the playboards. I know there's a lot of games that sometimes just do a completely blank, solid color, but this is another one that has artwork on the backside of it. So, I love things like that just have artwork everywhere. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, this is a game that you can take with you. And again, this is going to sound funny, but maybe not. But especially in a pandemic that we're having now, these tokens, which are the things that people touch the most, right? I mean, the board you're not really touching very much. Yeah. You're just placing the tiles on them. If you get to the point where you play and you want to disinfect them, these tiles can be sprayed.
Absolutely.
You could absolutely clean these things without having fear that they're going to get waterlogged or anything. So that, again, also just, I mean, it's almost like a perfect setting right now. This game is perfect. I absolutely adore this game.
Yeah, I think this is one of the downfalls of doing this online, is that people can't actually come up and fill the components, because that's what initially sold me on this game. Before I even heard the rules, I was just like, oh, this is great. These look awesome. We have to make this. So
I remember seeing the very first promo for it in the Kosmos catalog, and I saw these bits, and I was like, I remember messaging you, and I was like, so what is this one? Because this is one I definitely want to demo at the next convention, because it looks amazing.
Well, we will have it at the next convention we go to, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, I should also mention, is if you go to our Gen Con landing page off of the looking glass, there's an image of this, kind of like another page you can look at it. There's also a link to Amazon. It is available to pre-order, and this one should be available to actually ship within a week or two. I don't want to be nailed down to that date, because things are crazy right now. But it is officially produced. Like, what you see here is the English copy, so we're just waiting on that ship to land and unload. So it should be very soon. And MSRP on this one is $19.95, which is crazy. It's such a good price for all these great components.
Absolutely.
So we're approaching the time where we can open it up for questions. I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention, so I'll have to kind of go back and look and see if anyone's asking any. But if you have questions now, this game, any of the games in the Kosmos library, you're welcome to ask us questions. Or if you just have a question for Mike and his cool shirt, feel free to ask away. Let's see. All right. Everyone can hear us. That's good.
It's a little late to look for that.
It's a very tactile game. It's true. Yeah, don't bet on me for this game or any game. But you would want to bet for Mike, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gaming in the Corona. Yeah, it's a sad place right now.
Yeah, it is, but we'll get through it soon.
A specific question for Mike.
Yes.
From Matthew. How many games did you lose to your wife?
Oh, we played the very first day I got it. I think I only ended up playing against her twice, but I lost twice. This was the first time I won. Thanks, Tom.
I've actually played quite a few times. I shouldn't admit to this since I did so poorly this time, but I've played quite a few times. I've won my fair share, but the very last time I played, I tied. And so that's why I knew the tie rule. It's possible, but it's super rare because, yeah.
You mean the time before the very last time you played? Because the very last time you played...
Very last time before airing this or shooting this, yes. What else can we mention about this game? So it says 8+ on the box as far as age goes. I honestly think if you know your kids, you'll know like this could be played by younger than that. I know most of my nephews and nieces would have no problem playing this, and some of them are like 5 or 6. But the box says 8, and I think that's because at 8 you like definitely, I think 8-year-olds will get the concept of the game and also the strategy of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember your scores when you played with your wife? Like, what was a good score before? How much did you lose by?
I lost by quite a bit. Actually, you know what? I believe, and I'm sorry, I hate picking up my phone when we're doing a stream, but I know for a fact that we put at least one of them in board game stats.
Oh, okay.
So I would be able to let you know that she beat me 24-18.
Okay.
And
so she doubled you. That's good.
24-18 is not doubling.
Oh, I was thinking of it backwards. Sorry, my dyslexia popping out there real quick.
Yeah, she did really well with getting sets of 4s. And for some reason, I didn't notice that she was doing it, and she did the same thing that I tricked you into in the end with me getting those 3 points. But I gave her, I think, like 5 points because I did not pay attention very well to what she was building in the corner. I didn't log the other play for some reason, but yeah, I mean. I think it's rare. It's a rare occasion to get 6 in a row of either an animal or a color. Like, you really need to play a very long game to strategize to keep spots open to be able to get that. I mean, I'm surprised I even got 5 in a row against you.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Yeah, it's possible, and that's what really makes the game so great. And it kind of, I'm trying to think of other things that it reminds me of. As far as the sliding and moving the tiles, I can't really think of much there. But what it does kind of remind me a little bit is like parts of it almost make me feel like Targi. The fact that like we're placing things out into a grid in order to try and get something, but there are ways in Targi when you place one of your Targi that you can move another
like
one.
A game of chicken,
right? So you have some of that little bit of planning that, you know, I'm putting this here, but that may not affect what I'm going to gain out of it, which also somewhat reminds me of Imhotep the Duel, because you'll be putting these people on the boat trying to get things out of the or into the grid, trying to get stuff out of the boats, but then, you know, something gets unloaded the other direction, and in this, a tile moves the other direction, and now the points that you thought you had are gone, and now you've got to fight to find a way to either regroup that or start building somewhere else. And that's really awesome. That's one of the things I love about the 2-player lineup from Kosmos they're really, really well designed for as 2-player games. And don't get me wrong, I love Imhotep, the base game, and I have played it as 2-player, but the Imhotep, the duel, just takes that and makes it even more cutthroat and puts so much more strategy into it, which just completely sets the two of them apart. Yeah, I mean, the 2-player game series are amazing. As you can see, I have quite a bit of them behind me. I even have 2 here that are older, out of print: Lord of the Rings, The Duel, and Caesar and Cleopatra, which I still think there needs to be an updated version with a new theme, maybe.
I'm a big fan of that game as well, but I think the theme is a little outdated.
Yeah, so just got to find a new theme. But then, yeah, I mean, I have Kahuna here. I have
Kahuna is so good. Kahuna's a good one to play at the beach.
It is. I still think this will be a good one to play at the beach too. You know, I mean, you could easily take even like a gallon Ziploc bag or a quart-sized Ziploc bag, put it in, seal it, so now it's waterproof if it starts to rain or if sand or anything gets on it, and you could easily still play on top of there.
I plan on trying that.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And
then you can play in a pool on a pool float, and if the tiles fall in, then you have the bonus of having the diving sets for your kids to go get. First one to come up with a purple crab.
That would be a whole new variant of the game, is that you just throw all of the pieces in the pool and they have to find the one that they want to place.
Yeah, when you recreate the pool, the drafting pool, you have to fish them out.
It's an actual pool.
It's an actual pool.
So I wanted to quickly mention also that Aqualin, although it hasn't been released in English yet officially, a couple people have copies and they've done some reviews, and they've really great reviews so far. So if you have a minute, check them out. Dan King said it was one of his most anticipated games of 2020. He saw it at Gamma and was just over the moon with this game, and I see why. It's a great game. There's a review on Dice Tower as well. There was a very glowing review. They said it was their favorite 2-player game in the Kosmos 2-player line. That's a great compliment because there's so many good ones in there.
Yeah.
What other games, Mike? Can you think of any other games take to the beach?
Let's see. What else would I take to the beach? Well, as I said yesterday. Ubongo 3D. I'm terrible at that one though. For some reason, the 3D spatial awareness. My wife and I play Ubongo all the time, and I always end up finishing the puzzle like way before her. I'm sorry, Chris, but there's rarely a time where she beats me in Ubongo. But Ubongo 3D, she'll have solved the puzzle like 3 minutes before me, and I'm like, no, we're not stopping. I want to see how long it takes for me to finish this, and then she'll lean over and just put it together, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. But it's fantastic, and that's another one with big, chunky pieces. Not like these, but chunky blocks.
Yeah, those are interesting. They're like wood covered in some kind of plastic.
Yeah, they're really
the same as like Dimension. They're the spheres are kind of a wood, and then there's a plastic.
There's like some sort of plastic coating over it. But when I go to the beach, I always take some of my exit games. I always take at least one exit game, and I also take an adventure series. Because they're easy to sit down and play, especially if it's a rainy day. Just grab something and sit down and play. I love escape rooms, so I usually always have one of those two with me. I'm trying to think what else we typically bring down. We usually go about once a year. Not that I'm a huge fan. I don't like sand. It's rough. It's coarse. It gets everywhere and all that stuff. But I'm not a fan.
You're more comfortable at the kitchen table playing board games.
Yeah, that's usually where it's either that or an arcade. I'm always playing games.
A lot of beaches have arcades.
Yeah.
They do here at least.
Oh well, ours too.
Yeah.
Along the boardwalk.
Let's see. I got a couple more things coming in here. I'll just let's see. June was estimated release date for Targi expansion. When is the U.S. release date? Good question. Yeah, and you can see it over my shoulder there. Targi, the expansion. That one is in the same timeline as Aqualin. So both of those should be coming in within a week or two. Both of them we were planning on having these available at Gen Con. That didn't happen only because there have been delays because of the current pandemic situation. And that's regrettable. I wish we had them already here, but you can pre-order both of them on Amazon right now, or just wait a couple weeks and they'll be at your local game store, which I always recommend supporting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have a comment here. If you get stuck with Ubongo 3D, you can always build the biggest tower. Got to love the multi-purpose games.
I do. I love that's the most fantastic thing, right? When you can multi-purpose. See how we're just trying to see who can make the tallest skyscraper without any open spaces on the sides. I still would lose.
It's a great game, a game within a game. I feel like if I can make a quick comparison, like games like Aqualin, Ubongo, and Drop It, and even Dimension, they have. Sorry, I'm tapping the box there. Those are all great games that have very good tactile feel to them and a good toy quality to them. Any one of those games, you could create your own game, or more appropriately, kids who get stuck with playing that game, even if they don't know the rules. I've seen so many kids just pick up Drop It pieces and start like messing with them, putting them in the drop zone, not knowing the rules and not really even caring. I feel like the same would go for Aqualin. Kids would just like eat this up because it's so cool. Like stacking them.
I just said stacking them, Jinx. But yeah, I mean it's so good. Yeah. And what I really also love is if you look at the artwork that's on all of the different tiles, they're cool, all right? They're really great because there's a lot of angles to them, right? Everything's some sort of triangular diamond or something to that aspect, but it's like on every single different one. Even the fish and the octopus, they really have some really awesome designs on them. I love them.
They look cool too.
Yeah, they really look fantastic.
I don't want to suppose that people will do this. Like people will leave their chess set out on the like a coffee table because chess sets look nice. I feel like I want to take this board and I might make like a wood. I might make it out of like walnut and like pine, or not pine, but like some like cherry. Make a nice wood board out of this, and then just use these pieces and put it on my coffee table.
I could see myself leaving this game out with putting some sort of pattern, either by color or by creature, and leaving that out just because it looks pretty, I mean, in fact, I'm kind of doing that right now because you started mentioning about keeping the board out, and I want it to look pretty. We'll have to post a picture somewhere at some point. I'll send it to you. We'll post it on Facebook, which is another place you can follow. There's the Kosmos group on Facebook. You can follow there. So we'll be posting, I believe, the links for the next 2 live streams or the next 3 live streams will be on there as well. Yep. So tomorrow at 11, we're going to have a stream for My City. And then at 2 o'clock, there's going to be another stream for, the Targi expansion tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yes.
And then on Sunday at 11, there is a secondary stream for The Crew, which if you haven't played The Crew, that's one you definitely need to check out because that game is so good.
Yeah, so most years, actually every year I've been with Kosmos, we've made promos for Gen Con. We didn't do that this year. So someone just asked if we're going to have any promos for this. or Drop It. Well, we don't have that. However, we do have. We've made available a bunch of the promos that we handed out in previous years that you can now print for free on our webpage. So if you go, actually, and one of them that they mentioned down here is Drop It. There is a promo for Drop It in our. If you go to our webpage, like thamesandcosmos.com, you'll see on the upmost toolbar there's an activities section. If you click on that, it'll take you to a print and play section, and from there you can find all sorts of good stuff, including one for Drop It. But talking about that, there's a part of me that's like, ooh, what could we do with Aqualin? You know, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to get into that yet. I still got a lot of games to play before I start trying to mess with it. But yeah, interesting. So yeah, definitely check out the print and play because what we have there right now is great, but we're going to continue to upload stuff. So if you want a print and play, there's actually Ubongo, a full Ubongo, playable Ubongo print and play. So you could go if you've been hearing us talk about Ubongo and you don't know what that is, which is possible, although we've sold a lot of copies, it's still very possible. So there's some people out there who don't know what it is. You can go online and print it out for free and check it out and play it. And if you like it, buy a copy. Or there's 3 versions of the game out right now: Ubongo, Ubongo Fun Size, and then Ubongo Extreme Fun Size. It's tough.
They're really fun.
There's also a bunch of expansions for Imhotep, like mini expansions. There's some mini expansions for Legends of Andor. So many fans out there for Legends of Andor. If you don't already have some of the promos, check them out. They're great. I mean, I like adding promos to Legends of Andor because I feel like I've played it enough, but there's still so much more to explore, and that's a good way to kind of keep it fresh.
Yeah. There's also, I don't know if you'll have to let me know if there's another way to do it, but I know the latest printings of Lost Cities has the 6th expedition in it, which originally was a promo. Yep. I remember seeing that at conventions last year as well, so I don't know if that's available as anything.
That's a tough one. Like, I think we would make that available, but you couldn't really print it without.
Yeah, it would be.
You'd have to have a professional printer with stock that matched the stock of the original cards.
Yeah.
That being said, the updated version of Lost Cities is totally worth it because I see it online really cheap all the time. Right? Like, it's $19.95, and sometimes you'll see it on sale for even less. And with that, you get brand new cards with, in my opinion, much better artwork. But you also get the opportunity to play with 5 or 6 expeditions. So definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the game already. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I want to make sure I take a minute to thank everyone again for joining us. This has been a lot of fun, and we're excited to introduce people to Aqualin. We hope that you'll check it out. Wish we could demo it with you right now because I think we'd be selling them off the shelf like this. But thanks again. Thanks for joining us. And Mike, any last words from you?
I want to thank everybody for joining. I hope everyone's having a good time at Gen Con Online. I miss being able to see some of you that I've seen the last 2 years at Gen Con. I know there's been quite a number of repeat customers that we had at the demo tables. So,
yep.
It really bums me out that I can't see some of you. So, if any of you have remembered playing games with Oscar and myself over the last 2 years, know that, we miss you guys too. If my son's watching, hi, Mikey. I know my other son, Cooper's asleep, but hi, Coop.
That's great. Thanks, Mike. And thanks, everyone, again.